Hello everyone, the Kentucky Patriot here. Appreciate you stopping by. Just want to talk to you real quick about printing. And most of you probably know what printing is, what I'm talking about when I say printing, or when we're talking in the context of concealed carry. And what that is the actual printing of the gun, the print that it leaves on your clothing, or when somebody's looking at you from a distance and it reveals your firearm. So before I go any farther, this is just my opinion. I'm not giving you any legal advice, because really in a concealed carry frame of mind, when you're in a state that honors open carry, it's not quite as big as a deal. Of course, in some jurisdictions that doesn't maybe honor open carry, then printing can be a little bit more of an issue, and I'll talk about that in just a second. So real quick, this isn't legal advice. This is just me talking to you as a friend, and it's certainly never talking down to you. I'm just trying to, there's a lot of new shooters, a lot of new concealed carry people, especially in these days and times we're living in. Everybody's stocking up on ammo. A lot of people's carrying that never carried before. So when we're talking about printing, that's what we are talking about. And the reason I think it's important, and I kind of want to discuss it today, and I think we've all been there, where we've got an outfit on, whether it's a male or female, whether it's inside the waistband, outside the waistband, whether it's appendix carry, whatever it is, I'll ask my wife, hey, am I printing? Can you see my gun? How's it look? Does it look okay? And if you ever get a chance and want to check out my video, Common Sense Carry, I'll tell you all my thoughts and opinions about open carry and concealed carry. But the long and short of it is, we want to be able to conceal our weapon comfortably without being noticed or bring attention to ourselves, or at least that's my goal. Well, I understand the issue about printing, and like I said, check your local laws, check your local jurisdictions. Everybody's different, but especially if you're in a state that allows open carry, I think in general the gun community is way overthinking printing. If you're comfortable and you're in everyday clothes and your gun isn't sticking out like a sore thumb, so to speak, then you're probably okay. I think what happens is, so many times, especially to people that is just getting into concealed carry and maybe doesn't carry on a regular basis or haven't ever really carried before, they're real self-conscious, they're real nervous, feel like everybody's looking at them. They feel like this is really obvious, when really it's not, okay? You're more aware of it, and you're thinking about it all the time. When the average Joe walking down the street, they're not sizing you up to see if you have a gun. And if they are sizing you up to see if you have a gun, they probably got evil intent. So in general, law-abiding citizens aren't, really that worried about printing. Now, again, I like to be concealed. I like to keep it covered as well. And a quick story, me and my wife was in Tennessee one time on vacation, and I was watching the guy up front. I wasn't even paying attention, but a guy kind of leaned over to tie his shoe or something. I was like this, and my wife hit me, and I looked over, and she pointed. And when the guy had leaned over to tie his shoe or whatever, you could see this part of his gun, and you could tell that he was carrying concealed, which we just glanced and just went on. She would just let me know, hey, there's a concealed carry guy, which, totally fine with it. No big deal. We carry concealed ourselves. But the point I was making is, before and after that, I never could tell that he had a gun. I never could tell. I had no idea. I didn't know the guy. I had no idea he had a gun on him. So what I'm saying is, you're probably more self-conscious and worried about it than anybody else. And with the situation with this gentleman, the only time I knew he had a gun is when he was in a very unusual position. You don't normally spend 99.99% of your time, you're not tying your shoe. So for the 0.0001% of the time that you are in that position doing something like that, if your gun prints, don't worry too much about it. Because I think so many times people in wardrobes, whether it's a woman, whether it's a guy with a new shirt on, especially, like I said, if you're new to concealed carry, they'll say, well, how about this? What about now? What if I'm doing this? If you have to contort yourself and you think, well, what if I'm at Walmart and I'm trying to get something off the top shelf and I have to stretch way up here? I wonder if my gun will print. Well, I'm just talking normal activities. This is what I try to do with myself. I try to look when I'm sitting, when I'm standing, when I'm walking. Can you see my gun? And if the answer is no, then don't worry about it. Don't worry about the one time that you might be at Walmart, that you might not be able to reach something on the shelf, that you might have to reach way up here, that somebody sees your gun gets exposed, or somebody sees your holster, or you see it printing in your outfit. So don't judge that one moment that might show your gun and think, well, I'll not wear this comfortable holster, I'll not wear this gun that I'm used to, or worst case scenario, talk yourself out of carrying altogether. And I think that happens so many times. A lot of times women too, when they'll wear a certain outfit, they'll say, well, this belly band's not comfortable, or this holster's not this, or this not that, or I'm afraid I'm going to print. I'll tell you, and again, I'm not giving legal advice, but even if you are in an area where they may say something to you, the jurisdiction allows concealed carry, but if somebody happens to actually see your gun, you do whatever you want to do, but I would still much rather be armed and be prepared and have my gun with me and feel like I'm protected than to not have it and worry about somebody seeing my gun, because I would rather talk to a police officer and say, listen, officer, I'm sorry, I am carrying concealed. I just reached to grab something. My gun, that is normally concealed, maybe printed a little bit or was exposed a little bit. I would much rather have a rational conversation with a cop or a judge than I would to be so worried about printing that I leave my gun at home and I'm not protected, and then something really bad happened, and then I am unarmed, unprepared. And you see all the time people leave comments, or they'll say really, really terrible things like you're a nut job, or you're paranoid, or you're crazy. You're going to have to let those haters and those people that really don't care about you or your family go over you like a water on a duck's back. And I am not complaining. I've bragged on the gun community. You people are wonderful. I love you. You're my friends and neighbors. But even on my channel here recently, and of course I would have deleted it anyway. Like I said, if you want to disagree with me, you want to share your comments, hey, I love having a conversation. And there's times you even change my opinion on things. I said, that is a good point. That you brought that to the table, thank you. But I had my little boy on a video with a gun, and I think it was the same person, used different names, they used some of the same words. Was you can imagine some of the words they were using. It was started with an F, and I hate to even say that on here, but it was about how I was raising my kid, and how who would raise their kid with a gun, and just just all this profanity and how evil we were. Well, here's the thing of it is, we're not paranoid. I love my family. I love this country. So carrying a gun isn't trying to impose your will on anybody. It isn't trying to intimidate anybody, but it's just to protect yourself and the ones you love. And even I've heard people say, well, I ain't going to worry about myself because I just worry about my kids. But here's the thing, your kids need you. Your grandkids need you. So your life's important. It's worth protecting. And when you're new to consistent carry, or you're new to carry, and I made a video about that, carrying consistently, you need to be able to carry all the time. Not just, well, if I think I'm going to a bad part of town, or I think I'm just going here at night, because you never know what can happen. And like I said, when you're so worried about printing that you don't carry the gun that you're used to, and you end up going for an option that maybe is a smaller caliber, or maybe doesn't hold as many rounds, or maybe, that's up to you. And sometimes I can understand that, but in general, don't let an awkward situation, if I turn around like this, or if I'm out changing my tire and somebody might see it, well, the odds of you changing your tire are slim. And if you are out changing your tire and somebody sees a firearm, hey, don't worry about it. That's just my opinion. That it really is. So I think printing, I get where you're coming from. I understand we don't want to look like that we've got a gun this big on us. I understand that. But like I said, from day-to-day activities, your normal activities of sitting, walking, standing, just your normal movements, if your gun's concealed and nobody can see it, then don't worry about some kind of odd circumstance that might happen. I think you're just overthinking it, okay? So, and even if somebody does glance over and see your gun, who cares? Like I said, we seen that guy at Tennessee. He'd been over, we seen the back of his gun. We didn't panic, we didn't freak out, and if somebody does, that's on them. Again, you're not paranoid, you're not weird. You love your family, you love your life, and you're willing to do what it takes to preserve your kids. To preserve your family, to preserve your way of life. So if you want to carry a gun, sure, check your outfit. If you want to check yourself in the mirror, ask your wife, say, hey, am I printing? Women, ask your husband, say, hey, can you see this? But like I said, don't let a print or fear of a print talk you out of keeping the gun that you want to keep on you, that's comfortable, that you shoot well, the caliber you're comfortable with, and what you trust to defend your life. Because I think so many times we're under-prepared when a situation does arise, and we think, well, I don't think it's going to happen today. Well, we never know what a day may bring forth, so we want to be prepared. Appreciate you guys, as always. I don't want to talk you out of leaving the comments. Don't want you to think that he don't want me to comment. I love you guys. I love you guys when you comment. I appreciate the comments. I've made a lot of friends on here. I enjoy the conversation. You guys point out a lot of things, make a lot of good points, and a lot of you have carried and shot more years than I've been alive, and I appreciate your knowledge, and I appreciate your wisdom. I appreciate what you bring to the table. But again, he deleted his own comments, that gentleman, the other day, but even if he wouldn't have, if they have that kind of language in there, I will delete it. So please, if you leave a comment below, keep it family friendly. Please check us out on Facebook. We appreciate you. May God bless you. The Kentucky Patriot, signing off.